In the Wrath of Khan, Dr. McCoy gave Kirk a pair of glasses.
Happy birthday, Jim.
Which, by the end of the movie, were broken. But when did they break anyway? When I dove deep into this little mystery, what I found surprised me. Each time the glasses could have broken, Kirk is shown wearing them again. It's as if the movie was teasing me, refusing to give up its secret. But there is an answer, and it's more symbolic than you might expect. By the end of this video, you'll not only know when and how Kirk's glasses broke, you'll also gain a surprising insight into the bond between Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. So stick around as we explore this, as well as the strange connection between the Kobayashi Maru simulator and Spock's makeshift coffin. After eliminating Khan's initial attack on the Enterprise, and David's attack on Kirk, the Battle of the Mutara Nebula seemed like the last chance for Kirk's glasses to have broken. But during that battle, the Enterprise only took damage along its port side torpedo bay. Kirk was on the bridge at the time, which was left unaffected by the attack. Kirk didn't get so much as a scratch while in the nebula, let alone anything that could explain his broken glasses.
An ancestor of mine maintained that if you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth.
Now that we've eliminated the impossible, let's investigate the damage to Kirk's glasses as a symbolic act. By shifting to a symbolic mode of thinking, we can look outside the logical realm of cause and effect. We can now expand our search to encompass meaningful events previously off limits. I think we can all agree that the death of Spock is the most meaningful event that occurred after Kirk's glasses were last seen intact. There's also the detonation of the Genesis device, but I don't think it's meaningfully connected to Kirk's glasses, or our discussion. To help us understand when and why Kirk's glasses broke, let's revisit the moment he discovers the damage. Kirk's in his quarters, finishing A Tale of Two Cities, Spock's birthday gift to him. The book famously ends with a man sacrificing himself to save his friends. Sound familiar?
It's a far, far better thing I do than I have ever done before. A far better resting place I go to than I have ever known.
It's a perfect parallel to Spock's own sacrifice. Kirk even reflects on this connection.
Something Spock was trying to tell me on my birthday.
It seems that Kirk is suggesting that Spock somehow knew what was coming, and that he chose the book as a way to prepare Kirk for his death.
It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Message, Spock?
None that I'm conscious of. Except, of course,
don't grieve, Pepper. It is logical.
These moments suggest that Spock's death isn't just a key event,
No.
but it lies at the center of this mystery. And what of the broken lens itself? What could it symbolically represent? Let's first define what the pair of lenses represent. It would seem that they represent Spock and McCoy, who both help Kirk to see clearly. Keeping in mind that the left rational side of the brain controls the right side of the body, then the right lens would represent Spock, through whom Kirk can see the rational, logical side of an issue with clarity.
were I to invoke logic, logic clearly dictates that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
And the left lens represents McCoy, who helps Kirk see the emotional side.
You okay, Jim? How do you feel?
If the right lens represents Spock, then it would follow that its breaking would represent his death. Spock is gone, and with him, the perspective he provided. Kirk's vision has been impaired, both literally and figuratively. This dual function of Spock and McCoy was symbolized in the original series by the Science Division's Delta Shield, which resembles a stylized eye. When I looked into the symbolic meaning of broken glass, I wasn't too surprised when I found out that it often represents personal loss. But what's fascinating is that it also symbolizes renewal, thanks to its ability to be recycled and transformed into something new. In losing Spock, Kirk gained something unexpected, a renewal of his spirit.
I feel young.
Certainly the best of times and the worst of times. He's ready to once again gallop about the cosmos, something he once claimed was a game for the young. I always felt that Kirk discovering his glasses were broken was a poignant moment, even when I couldn't articulate why. But now I know why. It symbolized Kirk's loss, his loss of Spock, and his renewal. But Star Trek II holds yet another undiscovered secret concerning Spock's death. So stick around. We'll explore its meaning and how it relates to Spock's casket.
We'll return after these messages.
shall return.
Star Trek II still holds undiscovered secrets. One of those secrets is present on this dimly lit sign, visible for only 10 seconds and obscured in shadow. Mark IV Simulator, Enterprise Class.
Now, what is that supposed to mean?
The simulator sign's infamous subheading Enterprise Class has garnered some attention over the years, with many fans believing it should have read Constitution Class. But today we'll focus on the symbolic meta-meaning that I believe the sign's main heading, Mark IV Simulator, contains. To entice Nimoy into donning his Vulcan ears one last time, the producers of Star Trek II wrote a death scene where Spock dies during Khan's initial attack on the Enterprise.
Fire! No power to the weapons, Captain. Hang on!
Their ploy worked, and Nimoy signed on, but changes were made in response to the growing outcry once Spock's pending death was made public. Now, instead of dying just once, Spock would die twice, with his bifurcated death now bookending the movie. In a stroke of genius, Spock's simulated death was coupled with the pre-existing simulator sequence and placed at the beginning of the film. They hoped that audiences would see this and assume the rumors of Spock's death had been grossly exaggerated.
Aren't you dead?
And be caught off guard when Spock's actual death happens at the end of the movie. Now let's explore the meaning behind the name. In mundane terms, Mark IV refers to the fourth version of a piece of equipment, with Mark meaning model or version. So in that sense, this would be the fourth version of the Starfleet training simulator. Likewise, Spock's casket would be the sixth model or version of the photon torpedo. For a section of the fan base, that's as far as the meaning need go. But there's a meaningful connection between Mark IV and 6 that I can't ignore. That connection being Spock's death. For Mark IV Simulator, read Spock's Death Simulator. And for Mark VI, read Spock's actual death. I found that Mark IV also connects Spock's future to his past.
It would be interesting, Captain, to return to that world in 100 years and learn what crop had sprung from the seed you planted today.
It would indeed.
Spock's rumination is not only the source of the title Space Seed, but its connection to Mark IV is biblical in nature, as Mark chapter 4 opens with the parable of the sower. To follow through with the analogy, Kirk is the sower, and in Star Trek II, Kirk will reap what he has sown, and Spock's own death will be a major part of that reaping.
Why?
Is there also a meaningful connection between the name on Spock's casket and Mark chapter 6? There is the possible promise of Spock's resurrection. On a side note, the only two sets of spatial coordinates given in the movie both end in Mark IV. They're connected to each version of Spock's death. One gives the location of the Klingons who, moments later, seemingly kill Spock during their attack.
Klingon cruisers bearing 316 Mark IV.
And the other is the location of the Mutara Nebula,
There is the Mutara Nebula at 153 Mark IV.
where Spock actually dies. I believe that Mark IV contains a hidden meta-reference to Space Seed, while at the same time it foreshadows Spock's death. To check out more hidden meaning in the Wrath of Khan, click on the video on the left. Thank you for watching, and until next time, live long and prosper.